Welcome back to another video. Just gonna get something set up real quick. Let me charge up my phone. Okay, we good to go. This is our first video for today, Saturday. I wanna get out like 3, 4, 5 videos out. Just get them out. I let me see. But yeah, I wanna do the 2K24 showcase later on today. Around maybe 12, 1, 2 o'clock. Might even do it around 11:30. And I'm gonna stream most of that stuff. But I don't want to have to I know my streams ain't gonna get none, but probably 5, 6 views. I'm okay with that. But for these I'm doing now, I know these gonna get the most amount of views. I'm gonna do like 5 of these. But anyways, the first video we doing is who is the Robin from Teen Titans? Always. Don't forget. I don't remember who Robin was from the earlier series. I didn't really watch
These videos are not for children.
Watch like Teen Titans.
If you're a children,
and like
then piss off.
Hey there, it's me, your least favorite YouTuber, VInfuso. And today I decided to take the time to address a surprisingly big misconception with the show Teen Titans. A lot of people, self-professed fans of the show, seem to be a little bit confused. And I know this because of my comment section. A lot of people tried to correct me in my last Teen Titans video, and tell me that I was mistaken when I referred to the Robin from Teen Titans as Dick Grayson. And that the Robin from Teen Titans was in fact Tim
wasn't
Drake.
Dick Grayson the first Robin?
This is mainly because that Robin used his staff, much like Tim is known
Jason
to do in
Todd.
comics. And that this Robin seems to have a more than passing resemblance to this Robin over
Tim
here,
Drake.
who is Tim Drake. At first, I wanted to just completely dismiss these statements because it seemed like most people knew Robin's real identity in the show. And to me, it wasn't something that was widely questioned. But I'm now realizing how common of a misconception this is, and why there's actually some valid reason for people to be confused. Which is why now today I'm looking at the very interesting history of the Robin from Teen Titans. Let me start off by saying I'm right there with y'all. Or at least I was at a point in time. I was initially interested in the show as a kid, because I too was under the impression that this was a continuation of the Batman the Animated Series mythos. It wasn't that wild or out there of an idea either, considering that Superman the Animated Series, Static Shock, Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, Batman Beyond, and the Zeta Project were all spawned as spin-offs to this series. Not to mention the multiple movies, video games, and web series tied into this universe, for which there are quite a few. That world was always expanding. And most DC shows and even animated movies out at the time were tie-ins to this continuity. You grew up with the MCU. I grew up with the DCAU. We are not the same. The history of this universe is vast. One thing always leads to another. So there was no reason for me to believe otherwise. Not to mention, again, this Robin very closely resembles this Robin from Batman The New Adventures. Or The New Batman Adventures. Whichever it is. I get those two names confused all the time. I mean, just look at them. One looks like an aged-up version of the other. From their unique Robin attires to the way they spike their gelled-up hair. These two could very well be the same person. They aren't, but they could be. They do look very similar. But if we're being honest with each other, don't all Robins basically look alike? At least the main four, Dick, Jason, Tim, Damian, they're all the spitting image of each other. They share no blood relation, but you wouldn't know it by the way they look. I mean, yeah, sure, in recent comics, they've attempted to give each their own unique look. But if we're being real here, they all just look like different variants of the same strand. Not helping my childhood confusion was watching an episode of Static Shock and hearing Batman make this comment.
So, where's Robin?
With the Titans.
The who?
You'll meet him someday.
Now, mind you, in the DCAU, the Teen Titans have never existed. They had never before been shown or mentioned. Not once.
Not once!
This is the first reference to them ever made. There was no talks of a team of younger heroes teaming up to make their own junior Justice League. That didn't happen. This had to be referencing the Teen Titans we know, right?
Damn it. I mean,
2 out of 3 men experience hair thinning by the age of 35. But
about 5 acts.
Well, the answer is both
14,
yes and no.
so
In the fictional canon of this world? No. Absolutely not. Batman is not referring to the Teen Titans from this show. He's referring to a whole other team of Titans who have never appeared prior or after in that universe. We just know that they exist because of this one throwaway line. But here in our very real world, yes, Batman is making a cheeky reference to those Teen Titans. You see, at this point in time, Batman was always seen with Robin. Any other time he had a crossover with Static, and pretty much whenever, just when he wasn't with the rest of the Justice League, the Boy Wonder was always right by his side. So the show needed an excuse as to why Robin wasn't there. And they figured what better way of explaining his absence than with the truth. It's important to remember that there was a little bit of a Robin embargo going on at the time. You also have to remember that the early 2000s were a very different time compared to today. And at that time, those in charge were worried that having a Robin appear in more than one place at a time would confuse general audiences. Now take that mentality and compare it to today, where we have a Flash movie coming out with 2 versions of the same Flash in it, also 2 separate Batman, both of which are Bruce Wayne, in that same movie, and oh yeah, there's also another Batman movie being made in a completely separate continuity from everything else. So, times are changing, and thank God for that. It was this very reason that Robin wasn't allowed to appear alongside Batman anymore, as now that there was a Robin with the Titans, there couldn't be a Robin with Batman. Despite the fact that A, Robin first appeared in the animated series prior to Titans, B, this was a completely different continuity, and C, this was a completely different Robin anyway. It's also because of this that Robin wasn't allowed to appear on the show The Batman until Teen Titans had come to an end. Which is why the Batman first introduced Batgirl and then brought Robin in later. That's not usually how those things go. And what do you know? That Robin also looks like this Robin, who looks like this Robin. See? They all look the same. Although, interestingly enough, this Robin doesn't look so much like this Robin, so you try to figure it out. You do the math. Also, this kid. I mean, come on. In actuality, when this episode aired, those in charge of the DCAU didn't exactly know if the Titan show was connected to the DCAU. The creatives didn't get the green light to bridge these 2 continuities. So they had no idea if the Titans Robin was in fact their Robin, or even if these shows were somehow in canon to each other. Hell, this isn't even the only time the DCAU referenced the Titans at the time either.
I can't get Robin. Hey, what about the kid in the Titans? Yeah, the green one. I can send a limo right now.
So considering that creatives working on the project didn't know if this was or wasn't Tim Drake, I can't really blame a lot of you for not knowing whether or not this is Tim Drake as well. If they didn't, then why would you? But I think what really, really, really clouds matters here, and what undoubtedly probably confused a whole chunk of Batman audiences, was the fact that Scott Menville, Robin's voice actor from Teen Titans, was brought in to provide the voice of Robin in the game Batman Rise the Sin Tzu. A game which was tied to Batman the Animated Series. A game in which the Robin from Teen Titans voiced the Robin from Batman the Animated Series.
I'm ready to kick some serious butt. This is gonna be fun. Out of my way!
What's
not
as
big tough idea? As they look.
It's a video game.
Lame-o.
And I can tell you the first time I played that game, it confused the hell out of me too. That was unmistakably the voice of Robin from the Teen Titans, mistakenly coming out the mouth of Robin from Batman the Animated Series. Why? You just know whoever made that call was like, oh, well, you gotta get the Robin from this show. Teen Titans is really popular, gotta get that Robin. And then somebody on the creative department was like, oh, no, I'm sorry, that doesn't really make sense. Nope, you gotta do it. This game ain't gonna sell if we don't have that Robin. We need that Robin. Go get him. And then the guy from creative probably sighed, had a coffee, called up Scott Menville, and then sobbed to himself in a shower later on that night. But logic be damned, they got that Robin. So with all that in mind, I think that the confusion, especially from someone who probably had more to do with their lives than carefully study and binge watch a cartoon series, I think that confusion is understandable. But despite all of it,
I might go watch
Bounty Mega Roll. 4 rolls in 1.
Come on.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face for the ultimate Gillette shave.
This is still not the same Robin. And this is not the same canon as all those other shows. The show itself makes it clear who the Boy Wonder under the mask is on numerous occasions. Getting the simplest ones out of the way is the fact that this Robin is leading the Teen Titans. While Tim later becomes a member of the team, he doesn't just start off as the de facto leader. This Robin falls in love with fellow Teen Titans member Starfire, as does our boy Dick Grayson. That's a pretty famous pairing too. It's one of my personal favorite romances in comic book history. There's also an episode of the series which sees Starfire catapulted through time into the future, and it's there that she reconnects with all her, no pun intended, old team members. And in doing so, she learns that this Robin has become Nightwing, just as Dick Grayson's Robin goes on to do in the comics, TV shows, and pretty much everything else. If we're also taking Teen Titans Go into account, in an alternate future, this Nightwing is married to Batgirl, which again is pretty on the money with Dick Grayson. Unfortunately, since this aired, several other continuities have put both Jason Todd and Tim Drake with this same Batgirl. Jason Todd and Barbara were a thing in The Three Jokers, and Tim and Barbara were a thing in Arkham Knight. And neither one of those two pairings has exactly been welcome with open arms. I'll tell you what, I hate both of those, and I think they're horrendous ideas, but I will take either one of them than them sticking Batgirl with Batman. Not to mention, in Robin's telling of how he formed the Titans in Teen Titans Go, the character models look like the ones from Batman the Animated Series, with Kevin Conroy even voicing Batman. And in these flashbacks, Robin himself takes the form of the first Robin from the animated series, not the latter. The first Robin being Dick Grayson, not Tim Drake. In another episode, Raven goes into Robin's mind, where she sees two acrobats falling to their demise, which is of course the tragic origin of Dick Grayson. We all know the story. He worked at a circus, he was a member of the Flying Graysons, and then he watched his parents graduate to becoming the Falling Graysons.
70 feet above the ground, performing feats of unimaginable aerial skill. The Flying Graysons.
That wasn't flying. That was falling with style.
This is not the origin story of any other Robin outside of Dick Grayson. Unless you count Jason Todd at first, before they realized just how ridiculous those same events happening twice would be. And luckily retconned the whole thing. Most telling of all, though, is in an episode that shows an alternate reality where Batmite versions of characters exist, with Robin's Batmite alternate counterpart being named which is just Dick Grayson backwards. I also want to take the time to note that this character isn't just some Robin fanboy. He is literally Robin from an alternate reality.
Who are you? I'm you!
DNA's identical. Little dude was right. He really is you.
The two even share the same DNA, meaning they share the same identity. If you wanted to call the comic books canon, in an issue of Teen Titans Go, it is flat out stated that Robin is in fact Dick Grayson. So that's it. That's who he is. Robin is Dick Grayson. End of story.
Isn't Dick Grayson Nightwing?
Yup.
And Nightwing used to be Robin.
Yup.
Teen Titans episode, How Long Is Forever, shows a future where Robin has taken the mantle of Nightwing. That would mean that the Teen Titans Robin is Nightwing.
That makes sense to me.
Then this is Dick Grayson.
It's Tim Drake.
The truth has been revealed. So share this video with your friends, your family, or the strangers you argue with on the internet whenever you come across this misinformation. I hope this finally...
Thank y'all for watching. We got about 3 or 4 more. I'll decide when we get to it.